Let's get this going. All right. And we are live here. What is going on? Let's turn on stream. Ah, dang it. What's going on, Charles? Honestly, it was underwhelming. There wasn't really any new footage that I hadn't seen. I feel like the stories they followed were just like, eh. One of them was pretty cool. The guy who got thrown through the air and survived. But, they jumped all over the place. The timeline was all over the place. They talked about the dude who was in the graduation and made him seem like he was a big part of the documentary, and then they just left his story and didn't talk about him at all. And I just think it was poorly directed documentary. I don't know. It could have been better done. Could have been more engaging. What's going on, Sati? I mean, there's like cooler footage literally online that you can find like on YouTube. And documentaries typically have like unseen awesome footage and like awesome storytelling that you haven't heard of yeah, there was just nothing really significant in the documentary that I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that," or "Oh, this is cool footage," or "Oh, this is good storytelling." Like it all was kind of average. So, yeah. A little bit let down on the documentary. A little bit let down. I'm not on here early, Yali. I'm on here when I'm supposed to be on here. I've been getting on late constantly. I always tell people 9, and I just get caught up with stuff. I always get on as early as I can, though. Where's the severe weather this weekend? Well, let's take a look at the latest SBC outlook. We've got a day 3. We've got a day 3 through portions of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas. It's not supposed to be very severe, but we'll see. We may get this put up to a slight. Where the heck did that come from? I got to delete this one. 1 second. That's the one I want. I got to delete this other one. Hold up. Remove. Thank you. Okay. This might go up to a slight. It's not. It's 9:18 where I am. What's going on, gaming? What's going on, Indiana? But again, we have this day 4, and this day 4 is probably going to go enhanced. I don't think it's going to go moderate. I think it's barely going to go enhanced. This hasn't been looking very impressive right now, and we can take a look. Let's look at our SIG tours on the NAM, the most updated NAM. Let's take a look at our SIG tour params on the most updated NAM. Nothing that crazy, huh? A little bit of a concern over Louisiana. On almost pushing 2,000 joules per kilogram on surface all the way up to most unstable cape. With a effective layer SIG tour param of 2.0 and a really weird looking hodograph. Nothing looks crazy here to me. Let's go to our dew points. Average. What's Matt doing? I want to get his opinion on this. This thing's been trending down. I'm happy this has been trending down because did you guys see it ended up being like 100 I think the total from that big tornado outbreak last weekend ended up being over 100 confirmed tornadoes, and I think pushing close to 50 fatalities. So we don't need another one of those right now. We'll get Matt's opinion on this. Let's see if he answers. I haven't spoke to him about this. Yeah, Samantha, you know you're not going to get consistent weather in spring. This is the spring is literally the transition in between seasons. So it's going to go hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. Until your consistent weather is going to come in summer. Deep winter and deep summer are typically your consistent weather. It's consistently cold, consistently warm. Fall and spring are very inconsistent because they're transitioning seasons. That's why you get so many clashing air boundaries and so much severe weather, because when you have cold and hot clashing into each other, moist and dry, it's a big issue. Yeah, it's ringing. Went to voicemail. He didn't answer me. Brooke, what's going on? What is going on, Brooke? In Georgia, it was 75. Now it's 40. It's not 40 degrees in Georgia right now. What you talking about? It's 40 degrees in Georgia right now? No, it's not. Oh. Yes, it is. Hey, look, it's negative 25 degrees there. No, that's obviously a misreading. Negative 54 there. That's obviously a misreading. It is. It's in the low 40s and high 30s in northern Georgia. Okay. You know, that's because this system that moved through, we had a trough. It's going like this because I'm up here, so we're still in the 50s. But that's because we have this southerly, almost southeasterly wind pulling in this humidity and heat from the Atlantic Ocean. But you guys have this northwesterly winds pulling down that cold Canadian air from this low pressure system that just moved through. You can actually see where the low's located right now. That's funny. I didn't realize it was that cold down there. That you can actually see where the low's located if you just kind of follow the winds. You've kind of got some circulation up here, so you've got cold air coming in back here, and you've got warm air coming in up here. So, I mean, it's colder. It's colder in Atlanta right now than it is in, portions of upstate Maine. So, just because of the weather pattern. Good call there. I didn't realize it was that cold in Georgia. What's up, Nate? Yeah, I'm like, what? I didn't believe you for a second. But it makes sense. Here's your low moving out. These winds are pulling in from the north. That's cold air from the north. And we have these warm winds moving in from the Atlantic up and down the East Coast. So you're a little bit chillier down in Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, portions of those northern areas than they are even up here in Maine. So snow was wicked last night and this morning in Oshkosh with the wind, I bet. Curious, where did you get your meteorology degree? I'm interested. I didn't end up finishing my degree. I went to Florida State, was there for 3 years to get and I was in the meteorology program, and then I ended up leaving. I was personal reasons, pursued some other stuff. I got a degree in sound engineering and music production, and I studied weather for about a decade. I thought about going back to finish my degree. It would have been a lot of money and a lot of time, and I didn't see myself going into broadcasting. Like, I never wanted to be on like the Weather Channel or on a news station. That, to me, they get extremely overworked and they're extremely underpaid. Didn't seem like a good career to me. So I like doing it this way. I like being able to make content. I get to, my goal with this is to make it full time. I love pulling up maps every day, seeing what's going on, and just talking about the weather with the community, and having no pressure of a boss or of being overworked and underpaid in a meteorology. I mean, last year they let go over 1,000 meteorologists. It's a really, really tough place to be in right now. There's been mass layoffs of meteorologists for the last 2 years straight, and big issues with payment as well. So I don't know. I feel like maybe I dodged a bullet there, but I did think about going back and finishing that for a while. Kentucky is good. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about severe weather that's coming up, guys. Here again, day 4. We've got a slight risk. This, it's still not impressing me that much. Let's take a look at the latest Euro. Okay. Here's the issue. Look at our jet. Let's look at our mid-level jet here. It's not jetting. This is the time. This is the time of the severe weather outbreak. Down here, and our high velocity winds and our shear's up here to the north. That's where our shear is. It's up here to the north. Even our low level jet. You get a little bit in the morning, but this isn't going to do much. This isn't going to do much for you. So that's one obstacle that's missing. We've got not an insane amount of shear, average dew points, nothing, good dew points, nothing really too spooky for severe weather. I think the Cape's the only thing that's really looking decent here. Let's take a look at what the Cape, even though the Euro doesn't do well with Cape here, but Cape forecasting. You get some decent Cape, but, without those other two factors, you're not going to have a big tornado outbreak. So they might not even go enhanced, but I think they will go enhanced. But there's a possibility this thing even just stays as a slight. In my personal opinion, I don't know where these storms are going to... I don't know how we're going to get big tornadoes spinning up here with no shear, guys. And with some average dew points. Can you check Delaware? Sunday forecast near South Carolina. Let's take a look. Well, it looks like it's going to be beautiful. I mean, right now, you could have some bad weather moving in super, super late, like 10, 11 p.m. on Sunday. But it looks like right now the timing of the weather moving into South Carolina isn't until Monday morning around 6 a.m. Sunday looks really nice. You're probably going to have a little bit of heat building up, though, ahead of that front. I'm guessing. Let's look at our temperature anomaly there. A little bit, yeah, see a little bit of heat building up. A little bit of heat building up, and then as that low pressure digs through, you get a little bit of cold air behind there. There you go. A little bit of cool downs coming back to the east, guys. Average temperatures to below average temperatures. Really the 24th through the 30th of March. From the 24th and on. So to end off March. And then starting off in April, we'll still remain cold through portions of the Midwest and Mid-Atlantic. But it's going to start to... We're going to start to see above average temperatures down there in the south. All right. You are getting muted. Looks like a decent storm late Sunday evening for Wisconsin. Yeah. Same thing that's bringing severe weather to the south. Could bring a little bit of everything to Wisconsin. A little bit of rain, sleet, ice, snow. So this isn't going to be heavy precipitation, super, super high winds. But it's going to be a little bit of a disruptor. This is a 998 millibar low. It's not like one of these crazy cyclones that we've seen moving through. But if we were to take a look at the latest, sorry, I had to sneeze. If we were to take a look at the latest Kuchera, here we go. I mean, the Euro's thinking we could see anywhere from 3 to 7 inches up here, central to northern Wisconsin. Same with really northern Minnesota as well. So let's look at total quantitative precipitation. What's our total rainfall going to look like? Nothing wild. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, guys. Is Arkansas okay on Sunday? Arkansas. Well, you guys actually have a marginal Saturday evening risk. So Saturday evening, it's not impossible to get a little twisty. Saturday evening into the early hours of Sunday, it's not impossible to get a little twisty boy through there. Well, it's really a 2-day because You start getting some discrete cells that want to move through Arkansas Saturday evening, and then those move out, and then immediately you get this kind of squall line QLCS band that wants to form right here. So you guys may need to be watching out really Saturday evening through the day on Sunday, because you've kind of got another surface low developing down there to the south. I don't know what this piece is doing. That's not going to work like that. Houston. Yeah, Houston looks... I mean, Houston right now, you could get something here on the tail end. Do they have you in the slight? Let me see. Let me actually keep this open on this one. They do have you guys in the slight. Just barely. Barely for Sunday. Sunday afternoon, really Sunday evening into Monday. So this would be around, Sunday evening into Monday morning. You'll probably have the possibility for some spin-ups there. Hail, strong winds. It's 44 in Georgia where I am. Yeah. I did not realize it was that cold there. What's the outlook like for April? Spring outlooks are impossible because spring and fall are bipolar. They're so hard to predict. There's some general things I can tell you. I've said it in every stream. We have a Gulf that's way above average in heat. That's going to provide a lot more moisture, especially through portions of the Ohio Valley and Dixie Alley. Sometimes your moisture comes off the Pacific for Tornado Alley. You get a lot of this moisture in Dixie Alley and Hoosier Alley and Ohio Valley off the Gulf. And we're in a La Nina, which means more interacting air boundaries. There's a reason we're expecting above average severe weather season in this region specifically that I just circled. Not as much. We could get it out here, but more in Dixie Alley. So that's expected. I also don't think we're going to have consistently warm temperatures until we're about halfway through April, even for areas down here. I think we have a couple more troughs that we're going to get that are going to dig pretty far south. Is the snow behind the rain in Alabama? Yeah, Alabama's not going to be getting any snow from any of this. The GFS still thinks that there's a bunch of snow coming in for people. I'll show you guys the latest in the GFS Kuchera here. Appreciate the follows, guys. Appreciate the subs. Thank you. Can Long Island see a thunderstorm next week? Yeah, it could. All right, the GFS has gotten a little less crazy. Still has a good amount of snow, though, in portions of the Midwest and inner New England. Some up in Appalachia as well. Because some of these pass runs have just been bonkers. Look at this. These have been bonkers with the snow down in the Mid-Atlantic. And if you go back another day, I think they were even crazier. Where was the other day? Was the runs from the GFS were just stupid. Let's see. Yeah, you were getting snow down in North Carolina and stuff. I was like, even the GFS doesn't know what to do in spring, guys. Houston, Texas could get some severe weather moving through really late Sunday into Monday morning. That's what we were just talking about. Yeah, Arkansas is going to need to watch out for severe weather beginning on Saturday afternoon into the evening time and then all the way through Sunday. You have your initial band that you have your initial kind of blow up of discrete cells here. So let's go up to 18Z. You have your initial kind of explosion of discrete cells here that begin around 9-ish p.m. Saturday, and then you have another surface low that develops, kind of creates a QLCS here, and squall line, and then that's going to be pumping through as well on Sunday. So it's kind of a late Saturday, all Sunday event for portions of Arkansas. So right now it's not looking like a super severe event. I'm not expecting any SIG tours, but it's possible. We'll have to see how this changes. The reason I ask is I saw light blue on the map behind rain. I figured no more chances of snow for us. Yeah, I don't think down that far though. If you saw any of that, that might have been up in mountains. Yeah, not expecting any to get down there. There's like some stuff, there's some snow that's going to be falling in the mountains potentially up here. How many people do we have in Houston in here? Or is that the same person asking the Houston question over and over again? Jose, I've answered the Houston question like 6 times. No problem, Jen. Easy, Brandon. Appreciate you guys. Hannah, what's going on? Yali. With the donut. Pensacola area in trouble? This is going to be probably general thunderstorms for you guys. I don't think this is too much of a worry, but we'll see. We get our HRRR for this event in tomorrow. Let's see what our 18Z HRRR is going out to. Oh, my God. Yeah, we'll get our HRRR in tomorrow, and that'll give us a lot of good information about this event. I'm still concerned about down the road here. This is going to be a big cool down, guys, by the way. Wednesday of next week, you could get wind chills into Florida in the 30s. I mean, in the high 20s, low 30s. This is going to be a big cool down. This is the actual polar jet diving there. So, and I'm worried about what this has behind it, because this is the time frame I'm worried about a big severe weather outbreak. So heading into the last few days of March, the 29th, the 30th, the 31st, the 1st of April, that period there looks really scary still. But it's far enough out that we have to watch how things change, because we're not going to see that exact look yet. Plenty of time for things to change. But it's looking a little ominous in the outlook. Can we get some decent storms tonight in Bucks? I'll show you the radar. I mean, it's not, there's nothing crazy happening. It's just going to be a lot of rain and thunderstorms. We're almost out of the worst of it. Yeah, I mean, this is just heavy rain. You're not going to get any tornadoes in here. We're not going to get any hail. There's no hail cores. It's a little bit windy and rainy. They actually lifted the general thunderstorm warning that was out here. So we don't even, or watch. So we're not even in any watch right now out there, I believe. A little bit of rain and some high elevation snow over here in the northwest. Not much going on around the country. Look at this. This is beautiful. As soon as this stuff moves off the coast, we're going to look nice for about 48 hours before we have another system wanting to disrupt our weekend. Which is annoying. All right, let me switch back here. Give me some exciting weather. Don't worry, guys. Exciting weather's on the horizon next week. Next week's going to be once we push into the middle of next week, there's going to be a lot going on. There's going to be some cold air where it's not supposed to be. There's probably going to be some snow where it's not supposed to be, and we're going to be potentially watching a big tornado outbreak. So, listen, I don't wish tornadoes on anyone, but being a lover of weather, all things weather, it does excite me when we're active. As much as I like, watching paint dry, you know what I mean? I'd rather see some action. So much as I like sitting in a field and watching grass grow, do you know what I mean, guys? Twin Cities for the future. Well, again, this storm that I said looks ominous out here at the end of March also wants to bring a big blizzard to the Twin Cities. So it's far out. Take this with a large grain of salt, but it's not impossible to see a big blizzard in the Twin Cities future here at the end of March or the beginning of April. There's a couple signals there for it, so we'll watch and see how it progresses. That's something I'm going to be watching. As the models update, do they hold that look or not? That would end up potentially being a big storm for Northern Illinois too, so we'll have to watch. This look at the end of March into the middle of April would be severe weather for everyone from Wisconsin down into Florida. So that's why I'm saying nothing too crazy going on this week. This is going to be some bad weather for Illinois and Indiana and Minnesota and Wisconsin and Iowa, but this isn't going to be a blizzard or anything like that. You could get some heavy snow into portions of Wisconsin. The nasty stuff starts really moving in next week. This is where things get dicey, guys. Next Sunday. So we're about 7, 8 days, I'd say, out from really seeing an interesting pattern take place. Yeah. There's been plenty of April. There's been heavy snow. That's big snowstorms in May in portions of Minnesota. But yeah, blizzards in April in Minnesota aren't super uncommon. They can happen, and they do happen a lot. Where will next Sunday potentially be bad? I mean, listen, it's too far out to really tell you for sure. We do have agreement of some real, a lot of air, opposite air boundary interaction happening in the typical place it does in May. Some very cold air dropping down from the north, and a really strong kind of mid-level and lower-level jet sweeping through. If we were to see this outlook, I mean, we would see severe, risk zones up here, down here, along the coast. It would be a everyone gets in on the fun type of event. The fun. I mean, you see something like this setup, this is potential severe weather for everyone, and then moving out east. And then you would potentially have snow, blizzard type setup up here to the north following this. So this would be a big, we'll see. We'll see how this changes, and you can see how this develops, right? This would be just everyone. That would be a very dangerous situation for everyone up and down the Central Plains and out to the eastern seaboard. Not very dangerous, but a very severe weather, a very significant severe weather outbreak. I don't want to. It's not very dangerous, but for certain people, it could be. Wait, in April, will Houston be safe, or will there be more tornadoes? I believe May is the month where we typically see the most tornadoes. I believe it's May. I'll confirm that for you. Yeah, I mean May. So you got March. If you were to go, what are the 5 months you see the most tornadoes in? It goes March, number 5, July, number 4. And then April and June are pretty similar. May, by far, you get the most tornadoes. And you can see Texas. I mean, Texas just has the most because it's a bigger state. But no, I mean, your severe weather season really lasts through the beginning of June. Your bad severe weather season lasts through the beginning of June. And then June, July, August tends to be a pretty big slowdown because you don't have that cold, warm air interaction as much. So when that's deep summer, like late June through July and August. And it's the beginning of September where you'll see a cool down of that severe weather. Yeah. Some of the biggest nor'easters and biggest snowstorms in the plains have always happened in March and April. Nor'easters, typically your biggest snowstorms happen in March, and that's because you have the waters warming up down here, and you have just an immense amount of moisture available in March. And then typically up here, we've seen some of the biggest snowstorms in March and in April. Again, you just have so much more moisture availability down here than you do January through February. So you'll typically see more consistent snow up here, January to February, but March and April, you have the opportunity of seeing bigger snowstorms. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm back. I'm back. Is Sunday going to be bad tornado-wise for Missouri? It doesn't look like it right now, but it doesn't look like it right now, but I would just keep a watch on it as this thing progresses. You'll probably be in a marginal to a slight risk, which means you'll have the opportunity of seeing some tornadoes. But I've been going over the setup a little bit tonight. It doesn't look crazy dangerous, but there is the opportunity for some twisty boys. Lee, what is going on? I appreciate the goat. Team with the rose, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate that, Teeny. How's Nashville next week? Nashville has been upgraded into that slight risk zone. But we'll see if you get into that enhanced as well. You may get into that enhanced if they upgrade that. What I'm looking at right now is pivotal weather. I've got a bunch of different stuff. I've got Weather Bell right now. Weather Bell, this is to me is a lot more useful in winter because I like using our teleconnections and stuff. This can be really good for soundings as well in certain situations, but we're not looking at something over complex right now, and when that's happening, I typically stick with pivotal weather. And you can use pretty much everything Pivotal Weather has to offer for free. The subscription gives you some of the 06 and 18Z runs, but you don't need it. I did watch the Joplin documentary. 4 out of 10. That's what I give it. The stories they followed, they weren't, I don't know. It wasn't like, there was no like really cool new footage. The stories were jumping all over the place. The timeline jumped from like the tornadoes in the city to, oh, the tornado's about to be in the city. Like the timeline was all off in the documentary storytelling. They were like really following this kid who was like at his graduation. And I was like, ooh, where they're gonna go with this? And then they just didn't talk about him for the next 45 minutes. And then they brought him in the last 5 minutes of the movie, and I was like, okay, so we just forgot he existed. And then I've seen crazier and cooler footage from the Joplin tornado online. Like better footage than they had in the documentary. And typically documentaries dig deep and like show you things that you haven't seen before and storylines you haven't heard about. And I was like, okay, well, I feel like I know less about the Joplin tornado after watching this documentary. I don't think it was a good documentary. And I was telling everyone on stream I was hyped for it, if I'm being honest. I don't think it was a good documentary. Yeah. I was so excited for it too. Maybe my expectations were too high. You need to do some storytelling in a documentary too. Like you need to have like a timeline laid out. You need to have, even though it's about true events, it needs to be engaging, and you need to have stories that people care about. And it was just boring. There's not, Nate, they haven't announced a second Twisters movie, have they? Don't even do that to me. I would be so hyped. I loved Twisters, even though it was a little bit, summer blockbuster stuff was a little bit exaggerated. I that's what it was. I thought it was a great summer blockbuster. I really liked it, and I loved the visuals in that movie and the way they describe things. Oh, you're saying the second Twister movie. Yeah. I really hope that I would love to see another one. Now, what do you think weather will be like next week in Nashville? Well, you're going to have a chance for some pretty bad severe weather Sunday evening into Monday morning. And then you get some potentially pretty nice weather, maybe a little bit of a low here. You're going to get cold. You're going to get cold next week. But it's going to be dry. Look at all this dry air all the way into the weekend. So you might get a little bit of rain on Monday, but really Monday to Friday looks pretty dry, and you're going to have some cold air pushing in. So the work week looks pretty dry and cold for the most part, or below average. We look at here's getting into Monday. Some cool air settling down into Tennessee. A little warm up, and then more cold air, more cold air, more cold air. Now getting into the weekend, big warm up. next week, potentially down in Tennessee with some potentially very bad severe weather back here. That's going to want to funnel in, but that's a little far out. We won't get in that deep. But next week looks pretty nice in Nashville. You're playing Rocket League. Am I in trouble? You're allowed to do whatever you want, dude. Macy, I appreciate that. Confetti Macy, I appreciate that. Yeah, tornado's possible around Nashville on Sunday. Yeah, we got to watch it. You know, it's not a super, super dangerous severe weather day, but we'll see how things progress. Sometimes they get worse as you get closer. Sometimes they get better. High Point, North Carolina. I don't know where High Point, North Carolina is, even though I lived in North Carolina for 4 years. You guys don't have anything too dangerous coming your way in the near future. You'll have a big cool down again, like Tennessee next week. You'll have maybe some thunderstorms as we get into late Sunday into Monday morning, maybe Tuesday, but nothing severe. It's gonna be pretty nice. It's gonna be pretty nice in the Carolinas overall for a while here. Again, we're really watching out towards March 29th through April 2nd for some really bad severe weather, starting in the Central Plains and moving on out east. But we're not gonna see too active of a time period here before them. GFS panel still love Mad Mid-Atlantic snow in Philly. We can look at that real quick. Let's see. Let's see. What the heck? Come on. Come on, give me my panels. 1 second. Here we go. I'll take a look at this really quickly. We'll see all the different GFS runs. Do any actually put snow back into the Mid-Atlantic over the next couple of weeks? We'll take a look at this just for fun. This one does. This one shows a big blizzard into the Mid-Atlantic, including, I mean, really from... Yeah, lit for all the major cities in the Mid-Atlantic. So does this partially. This one. Wow, there is a lot. So the GFS still wants to put this would bury Philly. It's interesting that GFS still thinks that there's going to be big snow in the Mid-Atlantic. I'm not sold on it. So most people aren't. Big snow in the Mid-Atlantic. Yeah, there's a lot of panels. I don't know what's going on with the GFS, but all these show big snow in the Mid-Atlantic. I don't know what I don't know what the GFS is smoking. I don't see it. Let's go into our Euro panels really quickly. The Euro's being more realistic here, guys. So none, 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 none. Okay. Oh, some. None, 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 none. I think the Euro's being more realistic here. Let's look at the 26 to 25. Nope. Ooh, big snow. Okay. No snow. Everything I'm Xing out is no snow in the Mid-Atlantic up to... Oh, yeah, no, none. Okay, so I think the GFS is on crack. Ooh, big blizzard. Big blizzard on this one in the Mid-Atlantic. None. So you're saying there's a chance. I guess so. There was some good snow in the 2010s for a lot of people, I think. Early 2010s. 2018, 2019 was a good year for some. Nashville, March 26th to the 23rd. We're driving there. We're driving to there and back to Florida. Um, that's a little bit far out. So I don't know if this is going to be correct, but right now it looks pretty dang nice during that time frame. So don't see any big issues, except for maybe as you get out towards the 30th. Roger, what's going on? Snowing in Florida? Maybe in Miami. Any storms from Missouri this weekend or next week? Yeah, we're watching out for some severe weather moving through potentially very late in the day on Saturday. I'm talking about 10, 11 p.m. into Sunday morning. And then we'll see if any of these storms want to spark up a little bit farther to the north on Sunday. But late Saturday into Sunday morning, we need to watch out for some potential severe weather through Missouri and potential tornadoes. Is it possible to see an EF5 type tornado in May or April? Yeah, of course it is. It's more likely to see it in April or May than it is in March. We saw 3 EF4s last weekend, guys. 3 EF4s. 3. One of which they considered upgrading to an EF5 after assessing damage. And they didn't, but they said they were close to. But yeah, you're more likely to get them in April and especially May because you have a lot more tornadoes, typically. Any storms tonight from Delaware? You guys got a little bit of weather moving out, but it's gonna clear up. No severe weather for you guys. Just some rain and maybe a little bit of thunder, lightning. Kentucky could have some severe weather. Your severe weather event would likely be. Let's look at how this progresses right now on our Euro. Let's go to our 18Z so we can get a good timing here. Some thunderstorms moving into Kentucky potentially Sunday afternoon, morning into afternoon. This would be the bigger event right here though when these storms start to spark up. So this would be closer to this would be Sunday afternoon. Sunday morning through Sunday evening. Kentucky really all day Sunday. You're going to have some severe weather moving over Kentucky. Nothing, I think most of Kentucky is just going to be in a marginal. You're going to have part of Kentucky in a slight, probably. Most of Tennessee's in the slight currently. And I think southwestern Tennessee will be put in an enhanced, potentially. I'm not sold on this one. I was on the last two. I've seen a downtrend in this severe weather on Sunday and Monday. I've seen it downtrend, which is good. No, the South has had enough. Crying in Louisiana. I hate to break it to you, but like we are on the 1 yard line of severe weather spring season. We're just getting started here. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. April and May are big months, especially late April and early May. That's what you get for living down there. You guys know how to deal with it. You should be used to it. No problem near Mina. Greensboro, North Carolina. No dangerous severe weather in your immediate forecast. So you guys are good right now. Ohio, again, I'm worried about this March 29th through April 2nd. The end of March into early April, we're seeing a lot of activity, not just for the central and south regions, but potentially, as you can see here, for everyone. For everyone out here. So we'll have a couple big storms move through. This type of look would be a major tornado outbreak. You'd have a low pressure to the north, and then you'd have you'd have another surface low down here and trough ejection. I mean, let me look at what this low level jet is doing out here because it looks like it's pumping. Yeah, look at that. This is a low level jet with 90 mile per hour winds right above your head. April 1st. Hopefully that changes. And then our mid-level jet's cranking, I believe, through this time frame as well. There it is. 110 knots. 120, 130 mile per hour winds, mid-level. Yeah. So we really got to watch that time frame there. You see, we're not seeing this with this Sunday event. You know, this is where our severe weather is supposed to be taking place. And in that circle, I mean, we're not having the sheer velocities that we're needing for a very dangerous severe weather outbreak. So hopefully it stays like that. Like I said, things can change, but East Tennessee, yeah, nothing to worry about in the immediate future. We'll see. You're not even in the slight. I guess portions of it are. No, I guess portions of it are. You've got Knoxville's right on the boundary of that slight. So we'll see. Again, this is going to be a Sunday evening into Monday morning issue for Eastern Tennessee. I'm seeing a downtrend on this severe weather outlook, but tomorrow we get the HRRR in, and the HRRR is going to give us a good look at our SIGTOR parameters, and that will tell a big story. And I like looking at the HRRR low and mid-level jet setup as well. And if I see that enhanced tomorrow, I'll talk about it in my video. I post every day and I go live every day. I'll talk about it. But right now, this has been downtrending. This is going to be there's going to be severe weather. We'll probably get a couple tornadoes out of this event. The question is it going to be very bad? And right now, I'm on the side of not very bad. The wind in South Texas has been unreal. Half the folks in our church have property burning. Yeah, I know. It's really unfortunate. There's red flag warnings all across the central U.S. Oklahoma's got a lot of stuff burning. Kansas, Texas, even all the way up through portions of Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri. There's been hundreds of homes burned. I think over 1,000 now. And thousands of acres. Yeah, it's bad. It sucks. Connor, on Sunday, we got hammered with golf ball size hail in Archdale, North Carolina. Was that really? You got hail out there in North Carolina? Yeah, those squall lines. That's what we call the QLCS, quasi-linear convective system. If it's convective system, it's pulling up. It's creating those really high cloud tops. Really, it still has a strong updraft, and it can produce some decent hail. I think I talked about that. I think I actually said that in my stream. I said you could still get hail out here near the coast, and if you did, it could be as large as ping pong size. I think I actually said that in my live. But that's not like me predicting the future. Typically, you guys were going through QLCS thunderstorms, and typically with those, like the largest hail you'll see is ping pong ball size. Sometimes you get really strong updrafts when you can see like baseball size hail in those, but typically you're going to see an inch to 2 inch size hail max. Usually it's just an inch and a half. But that can do some damage to property and cars. Last year on April 2nd, we had a tornado in the very southern part of Ohio. Well, there was probably more than that in Ohio last year. I mean, there's you can look at the average number of tornadoes. I had it up before per year. Average tornadoes by month. Ohio, so average number. So Ohio averages. So let me go by year. Average number of tornadoes by year. Yeah, Ohio averages 22 tornadoes a year. So you probably had more than one. A lot. Texas 151. A big part of that is just because it's a massive state. If you look at state size for the amount of tornadoes they get, you could see like these are huge numbers for the size of like Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. I mean, 91 for the size of Kansas. Kansas is pretty big. So, but again, this down here, let me move this over. This down here is I hate when it does that. You know where it was showing that? This is your Dixie Alley, and then that's your Tornado Alley. So, all right, let me get back here. You don't realize a lot of the tornadoes because they're EF0s to EF1s, weak EF1s, so they just seem like strong windstorms. Is Gary in bad? What does that mean? Show the rain model in South Texas, please. Wait, what? It did $4,700 in damage to my car. Oh, God, that sucks. Does insurance cover that? I think you need to have like a special coverage for hail. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like that's something insurance would be like, oh, we're not going to cover it because you don't have the specific coverage. Nora, what's going on? I appreciate you. We had an F2 last night. Sarah, where'd you have that? Oh, was it were you over in Illinois or Indiana? How's the vortex looking? The vortex starts to get a little bit boring as we get farther into the year because we're just going to see a big warming up of the polar vortex. You start to build a high pressure up there. Indiana. Yeah, I saw there were a couple decent tornadoes in there. Oh, it's covered under. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, comprehensive coverage. So here is our. Let's see here. This is our anomaly. So it is a little bit warmer than normal. And that's why this does have a little bit to do with why we're going to see potentially next week temperatures below freezing again down into Georgia, even though we're getting into late March, and with wind chill down into Florida, because this is still a little bit hotter than it should be. This does heat up as we push into spring and summer, and you get a high pressure building up here over a low pressure. But it's a little warmer than normal, so that's still holding a little bit of colder air down here to the south. So that's why I still think we're going to have a chance to get some pretty cool air pushed down to the south, even through the beginning of April. The groundhog was right. Let's just say that. The one that hit us was EF0, EF1, and then we had a water spout that knocked over some trees. Oof. EF1, EF0s can mess up a roof and tear down trees and power lines still. It's not going to level a house, but it can really damage a house. Can we expect severe weather in northern Arkansas this weekend? We got to watch out. This is Saturday evening around 9 p.m. into Sunday morning. You could get some bad weather in northern Arkansas there, and then we'll see if this squall line forms a little bit farther to the north on Sunday afternoon into the evening time. This might be another severe weather event. So I would say it looks like your best chance for severe weather is going to be Saturday 9 p.m. into Sunday morning, maybe around 6 a.m. So Saturday night into Sunday morning. But you could end up having another severe outbreak Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening. But I think it's going to end up that squall line is going to set up to your southeast, like the European showing. Not looking like anything crazy either. I'm not seeing any crazy SIG torp rams, meaning I'm not expecting any EF2 plus tornado to rip through any of these areas. It's not impossible, but we just don't have crazy looking params like we did with these other bad ones. We had at least 6 confirmed tornadoes in the Chicago area yesterday. Yeah, I know. I saw that. I was covering part of it. Luckily, we had most of our instability set up right to the south of Metro Chicago. So we had the worst tornadoes in this region right to the south of Metro Chicago. We had a couple EF2s, I think, pull through here. But Chicago got some bad weather as well. But the stronger tornadoes were down there and kind of most of them were out in the plains down there in Indiana, but in Illinois. Indianapolis again, not seeing anything too dangerous for you guys as we move through this weekend. It's going to be a calm. This is going to be we do have to take this day 4 risk seriously. This Sunday risk. Really in this one as well. This is Saturday night into Sunday morning. This is Sunday night into Monday morning. So if you take those 2 days, Saturday into Monday, really Saturday through Monday, we're going to have some severe weather outlook through this region. There's nothing to show me. There's nothing I've looked at from the dew points to the SIG-TOR params to our lower and mid-level jet to our Cape. There's nothing that looks like this thing is going to be a big tornado outbreak or do a ton of damage. But it could put tornadoes on the ground, and this is the type of event where you want to have your weather alerts on and you want to be aware, but I wouldn't be too crazily overworked about it. And once that passes, again, there's going to be a little bit of a break. Our weather gets really interesting as we push into the middle and end of next week, because that's when we do see the potential for another big blizzard through the Central Plains, Midwest, and then potentially a big tornado outbreak. As we approach the end of March. Like I said, as we approach the March 28th, March 29th timeframe, things look like they're really going to kick into gear. And that's kind of what I'm looking ahead towards right now, because you can see all this chaos out here. And it's there for a reason. There's a lot of other parameters to look at other than the future radar, but when it's that far out, that's all I really care about, because the other ones aren't going to be too on point. We got mixed season down here in Illinois right now. One day, nice, a bit breezy, then a snow day. Oh, wait, we got mixed season down here in Illinois. One day nice, a bit breezy, and then snow. Yeah, exactly. That's spring for you. Yep. We lost to Panama. Are you talking about in soccer? As always, appreciate your information. I appreciate that, Run. Kimmy, you heading off? All right. Well, hey, look. Luckily, we're just going to be put in the World Cup anyway, since it's being held in the U.S., so we don't have to win our way in. I guess that's... I still don't want to be bad, though. I want to get in on merit, I want to get in on... Yeah, people say that we earned getting in, not we were just put in because we're hosting. Yeah, Shan Smith, the polar vortex is always interesting to me. I do love... I do love me some, looking at weather from a more broad standpoint. I'm not a huge fan of local forecasting. So we could see next weekend some big snow in Michigan. We'll have to see how that progresses. Climatology. That's the word I was looking for. My brain's not functioning properly right now. As a person that's scared of bad storms and tornadoes, your videos don't make my anxiety go wild. Okay, good. I don't want it to. As long as you're prepared and you know what's going on around your area, you'll be safe. You'll know how to get out of harm's way. These, there's severe weather all over the country all the time in spring, and the vast majority of people are unaffected. So, but, best to have a plan and stay updated. You'll be perfectly fine. Northeast Kansas, I saw something about thunderstorms. These thunderstorms look like they want to fire up in eastern Kansas around 9 p.m. on Saturday. I don't really see northeastern Kansas getting too involved, but when you could get involved is out here. Like I said, as we get to the end of March. Right now, I don't see anything major happening in northeastern Kansas. Is there snow at some point in Missouri again? Possibly. This would be a northern Missouri snowfall. Very far out, but there's a signal there. And this is who knows? This is way far out. This is what we call La La Land, but this is a huge drop. This would probably bring snow into Missouri and up in the Midwest and Ohio Valley if we saw this pattern like that, but it's too far out to take too seriously yet. Kirk, I appreciate you. Anders, I appreciate you. I like your cover. It looks fire. Any snow in northern Arizona anytime soon? I appreciate that, man. Issue you have, and I talked about this in my video today. At the end of this run, Arizona gets a bunch of snow in. Now, this is what we call, again, La La Land. This is out there April 4th. I don't know if that's going to happen out that far. We have a ridge building in the west, unfortunately. So this is what happens when a ridge builds in the west. It basically, what's a ridge? It's a large high pressure that's going to be sitting over the west. And when you have high pressure, you have air molecules that are pushing down on the surface, not allowing that traps heat at the surface and doesn't allow for really much moisture to rise. So typically brings with it a large ridge, typically brings with it some pretty dry conditions and a lot of heat. And that's the setup for the end of March. So we'll see. The Euro wants to bring snow back into Arizona in early April, but it's too far out to know if that's going to be accurate yet. That's kind of out of forecasting range. Yeah, no problem. Arkansas again, Saturday to Sunday. We need to watch out. Saturday around 6 to 9 p.m. We're going to have some discrete cells moving through. Could affect really anywhere from northern to southern Arkansas. And then we have another QLCS firing up Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening, central to southeastern Arkansas. So, Sam, I appreciate that. Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much, Sam. How is Illinois? Well, Illinois is looking pretty good. You guys got a couple days here. You guys have at least 48 hours. You might have a little bit of rain move over, but nothing significant. 48 hours, good weather. Maybe even 72 hours. You'll get close to it. Probably about 50, 60 hours, good weather. Sunday, some rain showers moving through. We don't expect any of this to be severe. You could have thunderstorms here, but we're not expecting a twisty boy or anything like that. No naders. But it's going to get cold. This is going to get very cold for you guys. Let's take a look at these temperature anomalies for Illinois actually moving forward. It's going to be right here we go, right out here. 5 to 10 below average. Indiana, 10 to 11 below average. Let me pull up the 12Z Euro here. This is an interesting look here. So, pretty cool temperatures. As I said, as we get into early into the middle of next week, we'll see how long this sticks around. We're not going to be in a negative NAO, and what I mean by that is with the negative NAO, you would have some blocking out here, and that would allow for this cold air to linger and stick in around here. Right now, it looks like this cold air wants to move in and move out pretty quickly. That is more typical of spring, but then you get another replacement of cold air right after it. I mean, and this is showing, this is late. This is in early April, but this is showing, anywhere from 15 to 25 degrees below average potentially out there in Illinois. So your winter-like weather isn't completely over. I think even through the first couple weeks of April, we'll see some pretty cold temperatures in Illinois. Like I said, the gopher, or what is it? The groundhog was right. The gopher. What up, Santi? Yeah, I mean, listen, not much going on right now. What I'm paying attention to is tomorrow's going to be an important day. We're going to have the HRRR out, and that's going to give us a lot of information on this Saturday. Really, Saturday night through Sunday morning, severe weather through portions of the Central Plains, or South Central region, Deep South, and East, and Ohio Valley. So tomorrow, we're going to look at the HRRR SIG tours, and I'm going to tell you where I'm concerned about possibly some big tornadoes, if we even see something like that. That's my only real worry right now. As we get into this weekend, Saturday, especially Sunday, we're going to have a lot of information on this end of March, early April, potentially big tornado outbreak and another blizzard through the Midwest and Central Plains. So I think Sunday, things will get interesting again. Tomorrow, things will be interesting because we're going to have the HRRR out, like I said, and we're going to really see, is this severe event Saturday morning, Saturday evening through Monday morning going to overperform or underperform? I'll probably have a good idea of that tomorrow. But not much going on. So I'm going to get off. I will post my updates tomorrow. I'll be streaming tomorrow. And what I'm going to try to do on Saturday and Sundays is do double streams. Do like an hour or two in the day and then an hour or two at night. So I can get a little bit more time on here. My Discord is made. It's ready. I have to go in and set permissions and stuff like that. So hopefully I can post my Discord, and then, I think it'd be cool to chat with some of you and answer questions through there as well. So I'll probably post my Discord and have my Discord set up for everyone this weekend, which will be cool. Thoughts on upcoming hurricane season and how it will be affected by Enzo. Yeah, people are saying that they think we're going to go back into an El Nino. I think we're going to be in a neutral to weak La Nina still. Well, okay. Now you're making me have to look this up before I get off. What's the date on this? March 17th update. Okay, let's just scroll down here and look at where we're at. Let's get to the good stuff real quick. We're in a weak La Nina right now. If we're plus 0.04 to minus 0.04, that's a neutral. This is a weak La Nina, 0.6 degree Celsius below average. Now, I don't see anything on here that tells us that we're going into... That's our Enzo outlook. An Enzo neutral is most likely through February, April, and is favored to persist through the Northern Hemisphere summer 2025. Things get interesting out here. But right now, it looks like a La Nina to an Enzo neutral. What does that mean for hurricane season? That means less shear and storm interference in the Gulf and in the Caribbean. That means if and when storms do make it into the Caribbean, and they always inevitably curve up, typically, not always, but 70% of them will curve up just because of because of the Coriolis effect. Sorry, my brain's not working. They'll typically curve up. If and when these storms make it into the Caribbean and Gulf, this will, drastically increase their chances of strengthening and not losing any steam as they head towards the U.S. If we're in an El Nino, you have a much stronger jet stream. You have warmer waters here if we're in an El Nino. Let me actually just do this real quick, guys. You have a lot warmer water here if we're in an El Nino, and that typically means a stronger jet stream, and that typically means a lot more shear through the Gulf and through the Caribbean. We're favored to be in an Enzo neutral, I think. And what that means, or La Nina, and what that means is we may have a wobbly jet stream, and we may have clear skies a little bit more through here, which means, like I said, if and when these storms come in here, we're not going to have as much interference or as much of a weakening mechanism on them. You get your strongest and your worst your worst hurricane seasons in Enzo neutrals and La Ninas. Take, for instance, 2004 to 2009. We're talking Hurricane Charlie, Hurricane Katrina, Gene, Francis, Ivan. All terrible. 2004, especially 2004 to 2007, was the most damaging 3 years in hurricane history, and it was all an Enzo neutral and weak La Nina. So, we also have a record warm Gulf, Caribbean. Look at these water temperatures down here right now. What is going on, guys? 86 in March. So, yeah, warmer than average temperatures and in a very favorable Enzo pattern. It's going to be favored to be a good hurricane season. The only reason last hurricane season wasn't completely record-breaking is because although we had a good Enzo for it, there was a ton of Saharan dust out here, which was causing dry air and some shear that wasn't forecast in the beginning of hurricane season. And if you know anything about hurricane season, all of our the first 3 months of hurricane season, all of your hurricanes are formed from tropical waves that move off the coast of Africa, and they all were just sheared off, and there was dry air that destroyed them. So we didn't have a front half of hurricane season last year, and then our second half was incredibly active because we were entering an Enzo neutral and La Nina. Well, we're going to be in an Enzo neutral and La Nina probably this entire hurricane season, and if we don't get that dust, dry air interference out here, get ready for that. It's going to be something. Okay, anyways, I said I was going to bed. uh, there's not even an El Nino forecast. Everyone keeps talking about this El Nino. Well, I'll have to wait a little bit longer. I think an El Nino is going to be... We might not push into an El Nino until wintertime, 2025. Closer to February or November, December. We'll see. Yeah. Arkansas, again, Saturday and Sunday, we could have some severe weather. We have the HRRR tomorrow, and that will give us a lot. That'll tell us how bad we think that severe weather is going to be, and if I think it's going to be worse or if it's going to be not as bad as it's being projected right now. Everyone, have a great night. I will post again tomorrow. I'll be back on tomorrow. I appreciate all you. Appreciate anyone who followed. Sub, gift it. Sam, I appreciate you. Kirk Anders, everyone, all the regulars. You know who you are. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.